Hi, I'm Anthony Casey and welcome to episode 7 of Training Talks Ministry. Connie is an Irish author and screenwriter, and to say you've had an interesting life would probably be an understatement, Connie. Would that be right?
That would be 100% correct, yes.
So basically, Connie, what I'll say, I know you're not too familiar with this, it's relatively new anyway. So I'll explain basically what the podcast is about, and then we'll lead into some things and experiences you've gone through. So basically, the podcast is really, what I'm aiming to achieve is to talk to people, share their experiences, kind of, some people have talked about when they're at their lowest and how they pick themselves up. One being your own son Neil, spoke about that. And then different people, I think, when they listen to it, might relate to different characters and with their story and that. And just a basic chat, you know?
Yeah, perfect.
So basically, instead of, usually, this is called Training, Thought and Truth, as you can see. Usually what I say to people is, you know, what kind of training they do, you know, what kind of books they read, what's important to them. But I think you have such a story that I'll probably go back and start at the beginning. Now, I don't really know much your story. Me and you talked briefly about it on the phone. Right. And I said to you, we're probably better off waiting until, you know, we're actually there saying it, you know.
That's right, yes.
So, as a young fella growing up in Dublin, would it be right in saying that your father had a certain worldview, an opinion that you didn't really align with, or that you didn't see was right? Yeah.
That's correct.
Tell me a bit about what you would have thought that way.
Well, according to my father's philosophy, the teachers were right, the church was right, the cards were right, the judiciary was right, the politicians was right, everybody was right. Now, another thing too, as a child, if I fell in the garden and started crying, I went into the house crying, I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, I'd get this response, what are you crying for? Mm-hmm. Shut up, or I'll give you something to cry about.
Old school
and
kind of.
you'd get another few. So I learned very early on in life to not cry, to suppress my feelings.
Mm-hmm. Bottle them up. But as I learned later on in life, violence breeds violence. That's true, okay.
And that's true.
Yeah.
So going on in life, I rebelled against authority. Mm-hmm. Because when I seen the teachers whipping the kids,
yeah.
I was an older boy too. When I seen the priests were supposed to be there for the poor and the aged, that wasn't the case at all. Mm-hmm. So my whole vision of the world changed. And then when I seen wrongs being done and nobody had any say, the church, the government, the police, there was a police state, had such a stranglehold on everybody. And I was a rebel, I rebelled against that. And that led me to getting into numerous fights as I got a bit older. I ran away from home when I was 14.
That's right, yeah. But to pull, when you're saying, can you tell me if I'm right in saying this? In my mind, there's a relatively old Ireland and New Ireland, so, you know, kind of the generation you grew up in is kind of based on like old hierarchies. The church were so powerful.
That's right.
And they, you know, the priests, they used to knock door to door, everyone was afraid of them. They had such a, like a head chief of Gardaí has now. It's like a different world almost, isn't it? And it's not that long ago, but I think it's like old Catholic Ireland and the power they had in some ways, isn't it, in a way?
That's right. It's like people lived in fear.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
This philosophy about God is everywhere, you're born in hell, you're lost. This was a massive thing to a child.
Yeah, yeah.
And I started seeing a different side of life. The guards at that point in time, I talk about where I was brought up in Ballyfermot. If we were playing handball at 13 or 14, because there was no facilities, it would be a kick and probably a smack of a bat. So this in turn got me to hate the Gardaí.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I hated teachers.
Yeah.
And I hated all authoritarians.
Yeah, all the hierarchies that.
That's right.
And it's really I suppose it's like fourfold. It's like the Gardaí were heavy-handed, the teachers were heavy-handed, even the Christian brothers even. The priests were very powerful and domineering, fearing, and probably the parents back then, the fathers, there's a different, very emotionless culture, isn't there? Like, boys have to be boys, no crying.
That's right.
It's, I'm going to harden you up and get you out ready for the world kind of thing.
That's right.
So would I be right in saying, when you told me you ran away there, this also stemmed from an incident with in the church as you're
yeah.
Am I right in saying there's something to do with the Eucharist?
Yeah.
And you as an altar boy. Tell me what happened there.
What happened was, there was this lady, an old lady, that used to talk to statues in the church.
Yeah.
She wore men's shoes. She wasn't very wealthy, but she was a godly woman.
Yeah.
And I was, being an altar boy, I was serving mass with no names, no scandal.
Yeah,
with the priests. And I was holding the pattern under her mouth, but her tongue kept on going in and out. So the Holy Communion fell as her tongue went in.
Yeah.
I picked the Holy Communion up and I stuck it on her tongue, which was a sacrilege at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
which is very hard for a young fella to know, even as an altar boy. Like, I was an altar boy years ago, I only realised that was a sacrilege. The last episode I did, I spoke with a girl who was telling me about this miracle in Italy where it fell on the ground, they put it in water, but I didn't realise, and then you're the second person saying to me that so how would you have known at 14 or 15 even that would
I was actually younger than that.
Were you?
Yeah. So what I actually did, the priest said, Mudred, the 7 churches, a sacrilege has been committed in the eyes of God, and so forth and so on. So I told him to go to hell, threw the pattern on the altar rails, and said you can say a pleading mass yourself.
Yeah.
Now I walked off the.
This is in the middle of mass.
This is in the middle of mass. So I got home. Now, about an hour later, the priest called to the house. And of course, I was the biggest devil that walked on the planet.
Yeah.
Because I had done something in the house of God.
Yeah.
And so forth. So
you can only imagine that. These days, if a priest called your house, you wouldn't think twice about it. But back then, in old Catholic Ireland, I don't mean to say old Catholic Ireland, but
absolutely.
with the way things were, when the priest calls your house about your son, I can imagine there'd be fear in the parents, like, oh my God, what's going on here? It's worse than the guard calling to the house.
That's exactly when I got killed.
Yeah.
I got battered. Now, I never went back near the church. But my father and I maybe we were too alike.
Yeah.
But I disagreed with his philosophy because all these people were above reproach according to his philosophy. But the upshot was, anyway, I ran away from home at 11 years old.
As 11 years old? Wow.
I was found down in Sligo, where my father came from. I made my way down there.
Wow.
A bit of trickery, a bit of conniving.
Yeah.
Joined in the family, getting onto the train.
Yeah.
Pretend I was one of the kids.
Yeah.
Got to Sligo, and then they found out I was in my uncle's house. I told him my father was coming down to collect me a load of lies. When I was sitting having tea with him, an SOS came out on the radio that I was missing from home since yesterday, the day before.
Right.
So I had to tell the truth and
Own up, yeah.
But when I went home, I refused to go back to school.
Okay.
Because I wanted a job, and in my mind, to earn money was better than going back to a show of what I considered.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Animals, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was in secondary school at 12 then, and I remember a Latin teacher, big fella, and I was a small little tin fella, but he picked me up off the stool, placed me on the table, and I was eye to eye with him. So I hear him smack my head because violence was everywhere.
Yeah.
That's how people reacted.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, his nose started bleeding, so I had to run away, and I started living rough. Broken down cars were everywhere. So you could sleep in a car or sleep in a mate's house. But then at 14, let's say, my father and I had a massive argument.
Okay.
So I left home. But where I went, I was up in, do you know, Labrador Park?
Yeah, yeah.
The traveller side, up on the Connie Road. I went in there to sleep in a car. When the family seen me there the following morning, they asked me what was my problem and so on and so on. They gave me a mobile home to live in. They treated me very well. Now I could write, so I went around the country, signed a few tax and insurance and all that type of thing, you know. So I was with those for about a year, but I started getting into fights because I was drinking a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And as I said to you earlier on, I was getting moulded as I went along.
Yeah.
So in other words, if somebody said you stood your ground.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you were always...
And that's all you knew as well, in a lot of ways.
Right.
That's how you reacted to anger or violence towards you.
That's right. So what actually happened was I ended up being incarcerated.
Yeah.
Because for fighting.
For fighting, yeah.
Not for robbing, for fighting.
Yeah.
Then I get in with gangs, and some of them were pretty heavy.
Right, okay.
Let me put it that way to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And at 25 years of age, now I knew everybody who was anybody in the criminal world.
Right, okay. So very deep into that side of things.
Yes, it is. That's how I was able to write that murder thriller. But what happened was, one day I woke up, I realised that every time I was locked up or I was in hospital, all of these thousands of friends that I thought I had, not one of them came to see me or threw me a few bob.
Can I jump onto something that I think maybe happened before you're 25? When you ran away, did you became a member of the army, the British Army?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Can I ask you a bit about that? Because I believe when you went to the British Army, it was probably, it was seen as a good career back in the day.
Yes.
A good way, and a lot of Irishmen did. But you had a conflict when the troubles started erupting up the north.
That's correct, yes.
And I know you briefly touched on this, and I know you're in the Navy as well, but when, there's a thing, I always think about it this way. You must have had a parallel been split in two in a lot of ways, because on one side you had a good career, but then your loyalty to Ireland, probably you didn't want to go ahead and fight on the other side as you had seen it. And this, at what age were you when this was all going on?
Right, I joined the army when I was 15.
15, yes.
I joined for 21 years, 11 on reserve.
Yeah.
Because I'd no home. Well, I had a home. The home was always there for me.
Yeah.
But my pride would not let me go back to the house.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So I joined in 1968. The troubles started breaking out in the north.
Yeah. Where you're stationed?
Where I was stationed, St. Patrick's Barracks, Ballymena. So I was there, and I was there for months. And when the trouble broke out, I says, I'm not fighting against my own people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because as far as I was concerned, I was Irish. So myself and a friend of mine went AWOL, absent without official leave.
Was he Irish as well?
Dublin, yeah.
He was a Dublin man too.
Now, no names, no scandal.
Yeah, no problem.
Right. So anyway, the upshot was I joined the I joined the Irish Navy, Naval Service, and that was grand. I bought myself out after 6 months, and the reason I joined it was because I was in trouble.
Yeah. So basically, when you leave the British Army, you're on the run, basically.
That's right.
Because now the British authorities are looking for you. Because it is a crime, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the thing is, so, and I understand where you're coming from, I think a lot of people will as well, because this is an observation of mine anyway, but Ireland, it's a small enough country by itself, and it has an oppressive history with the British.
Right.
And I think, it's one of the only countries you can go to, and at the end of the day, if the anthem comes on, everyone stands to attention. Or I played music around Ireland, different parts of Ireland, even the north, and it's one of the only countries, I think, that people stay up and you see 15 and 16-year-olds, they know all the old songs and they listen to it with such spirit. And when you go to Gaelic football matches, everyone stands for the anthem, and it's as if they're about to lay their life down for it. And it's where do you think that comes from in certain ways? There's like a love that you're born with for the Republic almost. The culture, it's like you're trying to preserve what little, because it's being taken away from our history. Like I know my younger brothers and me were playing Irish songs that we heard our uncles playing, that we knew were like our grandfather, he related to certain songs, and we played it then in memory of him, and this passed on, and you learn the stories. I think Irish poems and songs are so steeped in actual people and history. I think that, I can understand the predicament of being, going to the British Army back then when it was a great job, but then all of a sudden these troubles breaking out, and you're saying, well, hold on, I'm not going to, restrain this guy or shoot at him. He's one of my own.
Go against me own.
Yeah, and now you're in a position where you're on the run from the British authorities in Northern Ireland. You joined the Irish Navy, was it?
I did. I joined, and I bought myself, I was in a bit of trouble anyway.
Yeah.
But I bought myself out of the Irish Navy. I had it well planned.
Is that where you boxed, actually? Because
I did.
You did boxing, now to jump on the train a bit, but like Noel as well, and Neil, there must be some boxing history in your family, because I know as well, maybe it came from you, but you boxed the championships in the Navy, is that right?
There was 300 in the Naval Service when I was there. I think there was 10, 11, 12,000 in the Army, in the Irish Army.
Okay.
So I boxed, I was selected, I volunteered with no choice, you and you. So 4 of us went to box against the Army. So I won all my fights, and I do believe to this day, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I think I was the very first man in the Irish Naval Service to win the All Army Boxing Championships.
Wow.
Now my father boxed.
Did he? Okay.
Then I have nephews that boxes.
That's right, yeah. Obviously, Noel and Eamon being...
Noel Eamon, Jim Rock.
Jim Rock, that's right, yeah.
Robbie Murray, Patson Murray.
Yeah, big achievers, you know, big All-Ireland winners, you know.
Professional boxers.
Yeah.
So, somewhere internally, there was that fight, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was, don't stand down.
Yeah.
Stand your ground.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, after I brought myself out of the Navy, I went to London.
Yeah.
Now I'm moving on to the 1970s.
Okay, yeah.
Now, as you know yourself, well, I'm not saying you know, but you get a bank euro, so you sign on in a labour exchange for your bank euro. But I signed on this labour exchange in London and got me euro anyway. About 3 weeks later, the lady says to me, "Does 2 men want to talk to you in the room?" And I says, "Sure." And I went in and they were huge, and I was small. So they says, "Cornelius, Connie?" And I says, "Yeah." They says, "We're arresting you." So I said, "For what?" Gone AWOL from the British Army.
They caught up with you in London?
They caught up with me. So they handcuffed me there and they brought me down to Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard, yeah.
Yeah, because they've an army base there in Scotland Yard and the police.
And this is, I know, you briefly touched on this as well now. I keep saying it briefly touched, we actually didn't go into detail on things, but this sounds quite horrific, I think, in my mind. This is the solitary confinement. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, what had happened was this. They handcuffed me, brought me to Scotland Yard, questioned me in Scotland Yard for 5 days because bombs were going off everywhere in 1971.
Yeah.
So, and because we had military training, they assumed A, B, C and D. But I was brought to this carriage from Houston to catch the boat from Belfast. And I had an escort with me. There was 4 escorts. And they handcuffed me to the radiator. This is on the train. And there was one Dublin fella. And I says, "Please, get me something to eat or a drink." They all got a drink, not me. Wouldn't give me a smoke. So anyway, we got to the boat. They handcuffed me down the basement to a bunk bed. It's like the Titanic, believe it or not. I got off out of Belfast and was escorted to Ballymena. Now the CEO says to me, "You could soldier on and we can overlook a few things." What? Says I know. Says he, "What would you do if we made you stay because you've signed up?" And I says, I'll be honest with you, I'd shoot my fellow soldier in the back.
Yeah.
Now, I was more than surprised at what he said back to me.
Because that's probably a shootable defence in the 70s, you know what I mean? They could take you out to, and say nothing, you know.
But what he said surprised me somewhat. He says, "I wish everybody was like you, that they were straight out, because there's people in here that are leaking out information and doing as bad, if not worse." So then I was put into a cell, solitary confinement, where I ended up there for months.
Yeah, something like 6 or 7 months or something, wasn't it? Longer.
Yeah, and I never got out of that cell for 1 minute. Your dinner was...
Day after day, you were never out of that cell?
No. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the door opened. Your mattress was taken out. You were allowed 2 cigarettes a day. Your dinner was in through the hatch, and at 7 o'clock in the evening, they would hand you back your mattress.
Lights out kind of thing.
So you'd sit in a hard spring bed. Now, I paced up and down.
You're talking about probably 6 foot by 6 foot or
in 8.9.
8.9. So just trying to get into 99% of people will never know what this is like, probably. And sometimes you watch, all we can think about is watching the movies or hearing the stories, and I often think to myself, I don't know how, mentally, how you mentally go on, in this kind of thing. You have to have some certain mental resilience.
I tell you what, Anthony, what saved me was imagination. My imagination. So in other words, although I was sitting on a spring bed, I was off somewhere else, mentally. I wasn't there. Now remember, that was a very Protestant place, Palomina.
Yeah.
And the taunts I used to get day after day from...
The guards?
No, from the soldiers, because I was in military custody. But however, after months, the cell door opened, and this fellow says to me, "Come on." I says, "Come on, what?" He says, "Come on." And he was asking me outside the cell door. But I was so trained to just walk up and down here that...
Probably felt uncomfortable walking out at that stage, didn't you?
I couldn't walk out that.
Really, yeah.
I had to kind of he had to pull me in.
Jesus.
Now they gave me £1. That was my travel voucher down to Dublin. But that was horrific.
Jeez, I can't imagine what that would be, but even saying imagination, it's month after month. Did you have pen and paper? Did you have a window?
No, you did. You had a semicircle window, which they have in the Bridewell or anywhere else with bars, and you have a little square for letting air come in.
Yeah, a bit of a vent.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And when you get out, is that your stint done then? You're back to Dublin. That's your debt paid then, is it, in their eyes?
Oh yeah.
But you go back, this is when you go, this is where the criminal element comes into it, where you're living rough, is that right?
That's right.
And so when you're saying about you're 25, right, you're living rough, you're out of hospital, these guys aren't around you, can you remember making the decision, or where you are, or your mind state when you said, I'm going to turn this around?
Right, I'll tell you what. Along the road, a few of the people I palled with grew up. They ended up killing people. A lot of my friends ended up getting killed, shot, whatever, drugs, whatever. So I'm watching all this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, now I'm not saying I was a saint.
Yeah.
I hold my hands up, I was not a saint.
You wouldn't be able to survive in that environment if you were.
No, impossible. So one day I woke up and I said to myself, hold on, life has to be better than this.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? So I then went and asked for help. And I got help. And I did a whole course.
When you say so, you went to ask for help. Where did you go?
A place called the Rutland Centre.
Okay. This is for homeless people, was it?
No. It was for people with drug, alcohol, gambling.
Addictions
or whatever. Now, they had a programme that you could learn.
Yeah.
But thank God I've been reared in a very religious home. Mm-hmm. And I had something to go back to pick up where I left off.
Okay.
So the first thing I did when I got out, cut out all my acquaintances, associates, changed my life around. I remember I used to get the bus out of Ballyfermot, mm-hmm. just to avoid certain people, go to Dunleary, so forth and so on. Now, then what happened was, as you know, I met Neil's mother and so forth and so on. Yeah. And it was actually her, Eileen, who said to me, Con, you have some good stories. Now, I bought a place down greystones, cottage. That was my dream. I got my dream. And I remember when I sat out in an armchair, and peace and quiet, such a different type of life than the life I led. And I remember saying to Wiley, Lord rest her soul, could you give us a pen and paper? And I just started writing. I never had any intentions of writing in my life. And then what happened was, within 6 months, I had my first book written, which was called 2 + 2 = question mark. But then I ran into problems with the book. Because I published the book, I paid for the book, I did everything with the book. Because of the contents of the book in 1987, I wrote about the church, the teach, the schools,
which book is this? This is
2 + 2 = question mark. Mm-hmm. 2 + 2 should = 4. But in the character's case, what's gone wrong?
Yeah, this isn't adding up, basically.
Sorry?
It's not adding up, basically. You know.
Yeah. Or why should that person, let's say a judge is meant to be impartial.
Yeah.
Why are they so partial? The power that was around, not one book store would take my book. So with a young family, as you know yourself, so I says, what am I going to do with these books? So what I actually did was, I knocked at doors. And like that, within a short period, 2,000 books gone.
2,000, yeah.
Then I got another reprint, 5,000. I ended up 17,000 of those books through the years, knocking at doors, gone. 15,000 of the murder thriller, gone.
It's a lot of doors to be knocking on.
It is a lot of doors. Doors, pubs, you name it anywhere. I couldn't care. Because it's my work. I'm not saying I'm a great author. It's up to the person who buys the book to say what they think of the book. Because every author will tell you, hey, my book is the best in the world.
But I did see a snippet of, in the Herald, the Irish Herald, how the Dublin man sold something 1,000 books, or and the write-up on it. When was that from? 85? Is that right? Or
No, that was in 2009.
Sorry, that's right.
The 15th of August 2009.
That's right. Yeah. I was close.
Yeah, not too far out. My books were going for up to $400. Yeah, for the origins, And now, I knew absolutely nothing about this. I'm not a computer literate man.
Yeah.
I bought a laptop, I did this gunning, and I seen this, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I seen this little trolley card, and I didn't even know what it was. I was tipping anything. But next it said, congratulations, we will give you $50 off your purchase. Your purchase? My own book. So I rang around, and then the Evening Herald got onto it, and they found that it was going in Hong Kong, which way
It's amazing, yeah. Because it was an accident, you had it online almost, wasn't it? You didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't as if you rang up a publisher, will you get this set up for me online and whatever like that. All of a sudden just took off once it went on the web, which was,
that's right.
Pretty amazing stuff, It obviously is a testament to what's in it.
Well, look, again, I'd say this, Anthony, that I'm not going to say I'm great. It's my readers.
Yeah.
It's up to them to tell me.
Yeah.
Because, as you know yourself, there's 1,000,001 best singers.
Yeah.
But who's the best singer?
Yeah.
But the upshot is now, I have 2 film scripts.
Yeah, that's right.
One done on the murder thriller, and one done on the children's, an animation.
Yeah.
But the problem with Ireland is this. You cannot contact anybody because it's unsolicited.
Yeah.
You cannot get an agent.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to get a publisher.
Yeah.
It's, you know...
It's a tricky road. It's hard. It's a lot more that someone might think about it. It's a lot more that goes on to even get a book published, you know, to find its way out there. It's a lot of... It's not as if you just print it up one day and press send and that's it.
No, in actual fact, if people only knew... You know, I made a few quid.
Yeah.
But then I put a few quid into plays.
Can I ask you about Vengeance is Mine?
Yeah.
This is your second book then, after 2 plus 2. Is that a redemption story based on your own experiences?
Well, let me put it this way to you. It's not... It's what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I knew. And I don't give any names.
Yeah.
On the contrary, the main character's name is Hutch. And I wrote that in 2000, but his name was Hughie Hutchinson.
Okay.
So, nickname Hutch.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Blackie. Tony Sykes, Psycho.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, but I was aiming at a judge in the High Court.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a fair bit of truth in it, you know?
Yeah. And your screenplays. So, basically, at age 33, this obviously must have been an interest of yours growing up all the time. The writing. Maybe, did it come from solitary confinement and just letting your imagination run?
Possibly, probably, because I never had no interest in writing.
Yeah.
I've never read a book in my life.
Yeah.
Haven't even read my own. I do not watch films.
Yeah.
I do not know who actors are.
Yeah.
It's just imagination.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what I see. Build a story of what I see.
Yeah.
You know, so it's...
And as well, can I ask you, we're going to jump on to something that you said you jumped back into. You had your you know, you were raised your religion initially when you're... Like, I always ask this question. Part of this podcast is train, thought and truth. So
right.
The truth is what motivates people and where they get their meaning from in their life, really, you know. I think we're coming from a country with bad experience, especially the older generation with religion, and I think that they tie together this idea of God and faith with the Catholic Church. I think it's important to separate it. I think there are two different bodies, and I think that once people think in a way, oh, religion, that's these people, this is what they did in the past, and this, that, and the other. But I think it's very different when you follow your own, you know, you read the Bible and you follow Christ compared to different organised religions. Organised things can be very corrupt, and people can be very corrupt, especially when they're in positions of power, like they were in Ireland, like the priests. You know, they can abuse that power.
That's correct.
But I don't think it's a testament to the faith either of people's faith. You know, would you say is faith a big thing in your life?
Oh yes,
it is. Regardless of all the stuff you went through with the priests and with Catholic,
yes, because in actual fact, I've read the Bible a number of times, but what I read in the Bible and what the church was putting out there contradicted it. Yes. I've listened to Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, born-again Christians, Muslims, you name them.
Yeah.
Now, all the good people in these, whoever you're with, all the good people live by the same beliefs.
Yeah, morals kind of are...
love thy neighbour as thyself.
Yeah.
Live according to certain rules.
Mm-hmm.
Do not abuse certain things or people. help somebody if you can.
Yeah.
Let me give you a rule too. I wrote, as I told you, 46 plays. I wrote for 18 years for St. Mary's Hospital in the Phoenix Park for the residents. 18 years for the brain damaged in Coonhaven. Now, every time I walked into that hospital, I'm 5'9" probably. When I come out, I'd be 10'10".
Really, yeah.
With the feeling I got out of seeing smiles, these people trying to put their heart into something. And one of my groups was from the youngest 83, the oldest 97. The brain damage they suffered from acquired brain injury, Huntington's, stroke victims. They put on plays for me.
Really?
And the feeling I got from that, now they were only short plays.
Yeah. But you know, and they try and say to you, you know, if you live your life without a belief, they try and say to you that, you know, that feeling of them smiles and you feeling that tall is all a chemical reaction in your brain, that there's nothing more to it. And I just don't buy that kind of thing, you know.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy it. And I think it, you know, we all know how much a human life is worth, and it transcends that, you know. And, you know, I think that's, you know, we're not just an accidental byproduct of nature, you know.
No,
you know, everyone knows how much value they put in their life. It's the reason we get up, we look at our kids, and, you know, we see the love there. It's not as if it's not an animalistic thing, you know. It's sophisticated. You know, we run on, you know, we're so conscious as people, you know, and the likes of that, you walking out and improving someone's life like that means so much more in the grand scheme of things than just, you know, you could write it off if you didn't have any faith in the world, you know. There's no point in doing them things if there was no, you know, if it meant nothing at the end of the day.
That's
you know,
right.
what's the point, you know?
They thought they got something from me.
Yeah.
You cannot buy what I got from those.
Yeah.
On the spiritual side of things, I remember I was at this wedding, and this very well educated person said to me, do you know something? There's nothing after. When you die, you die. End of story. Says well, I don't believe that one bit.
Yeah.
Says come here and tell you, I says I have a brain, I have beliefs. Says let me give you an instance. Says nobody can prove it. Says well, let me give you an instance. Says I have a phone, a cheap phone. Says I send somebody a message in America. They have the phone off. My message is in cyberspace. Says when he switches on his phone, it'll be a month or whatever after, that message goes into the receiver. Says now my brain is much more advanced than any bloody lump of buttons.
Yeah.
Says so when I die, my beliefs, I've a place to go.
Yeah.
And I know that. You know, but then again, a lot of people try to act hard.
Yeah, and you know, and there's this kind of, I've come across it, you know, the last episode I did, I spoke honestly about, there's a trend I think, and it might be common in your life as well, and I found this in a lot of people. You know, we grow up and our school is all about the sacraments and about the religion, and you have no choice in what it is. And I think you rebel against that.
That's right.
In your teens, maybe your early 20s. And then somewhere along the way, I say to people, I've said it a few times in this, it comes knocking a bit. And you look at it as an adult with an educated mind. If you don't really look at it again, you're missing something huge, you know.
That's right.
And things happened to me in my when I was about 27, 28, and I wasn't really thinking about the religion thing too much, but it forced me to look at it again. And I said, well, hold on, if this is going to be an important part of my life, I want to know about historically how accurate it could be, you know, I wanted to know, about cosmology, and I wanted to know about neuroscience. I wanted to, and everything I came across just built my faith. And it was like something was working on me. And immediately when that happened, people came out of the woodwork, and were challenging me on it. It's like they knew it, and I couldn't defend myself. So the more I read on it, the more I knew, and the more it made sense. So I'd never go after someone, but when someone challenged me on it, I'd say, well, you know what though? And, I'd say a few of my arguments, and it would probably quieten them down for a while. But whatever about historical accuracy of this, that and the other, I think when you have your faith, it's like a feeling that you can't, like I couldn't sit down and say to an atheist, right, I'm going to convert you here and there. I think it's an experience you go through. You need to look into it. You need to make that step, open the door that little bit and step through it as an adult, in a lot of ways.
That's correct. You just mentioned there an atheist. Do you know, there was a thing there during the Second World War where there was atheists on the ships.
Yeah.
And when torpedoes hit the ships, and they knew they were going down or had to clear it over, the first thing they said, God help me. Yeah. So, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I spoke the last time I said a very funny experiment that was done, I read about a few years ago. These scientists put these guys into this room, a dark room, and they were saying to them, and these guys are claimed atheists, and he says, they're in the dark room, and a little microphone, he says to them, call on God, and some of them start sniggering, 7 or 8 of them. He said, okay, and in the dark room, call on the devil, and the heart rates start going up, and they say, well, hold on here, right. You might snigger at something, but I think though the idea I'm saying is that it's important to detach all Ireland Catholicism and what they did with God and faith. I always say nothing. They say the Big Bang exploded out of nothing. Well, nothing comes from nothing. Things don't just appear into existence out of nowhere. If they have no explanation of it to this day, we need to look at both sides of the coin at least. And to me, it's just I can't. I would say there's no atheists, and I know it's a bold accusation to say, but the reason I'm saying it is because if they can't prove it, how can they? If they're going to go out, you can't prove there's not a God.
That's right.
All we can prove though that when we fall asleep we dream, or that our love for our kids is so much, or the feelings we get from helping others. Or they actually have proved that prayer works before surgeries, and you can debate why that is, but I think that your story is testament to that even though you went through the physicality and seeing it firsthand of what they can do in your younger years, you still held your faith.
That's great.
Which must have been, it sounds like a strong discipline almost,
That's right. You see, in actual fact, if you have no faith, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Now, it did say in actual fact, I'm not giving a Bible study here, but in Genesis, in the beginning, that's what Genesis means, it said there would be evil people here on earth.
Yeah.
And there is evil people here on earth. Mm-hmm. Now, as they said, if you can repent,
Yeah.
But, you see, a spiritual type of person, if you're spiritual, and you're good, and you live a good life, you will sense evil.
Yes.
There's something protects you. Put it this way. I got smacked with a train down on Greystones. That can be confirmed. I went out, I was having a few drinks at the sea one night, and a nephew and I come down. Anyway, the upshot was, I had one too many. And he said to me, God, you never, just 11 o'clock at night, you couldn't swim in that. Now, what do you say to a fellow drinking?
Who's had one too many?
Do you know what I said?
I can.
Do you know something? You are all the same. You have no backbone. It's pitch dark. I don't know whether you know from Greystones to Bray.
Right, it's a good distance.
There's a walk down, yeah. Anyway, so I says to him, this bloody this and that. And what do I do? Get into the water. Took my clothes off, get into the water. Tried to sober up. But the more I went under the waves and this and that, now there was a couple, 2 couples walking down the thing, and one of them thought they seen something down. And they came down to look, and they found my clothes. Of course, they got on to the police, they got on to this, the ambulance, the whole lot. Out in the sea, my eyes were closing. I couldn't keep them open. I was falling asleep. And I said, "Come, it's over, it's all over. No more fish and chips, human and chips, or fish." So I accepted. I wasn't shouting help, I wasn't shouting no. I accepted, that was that. Don't ask me how I made it back, but they had formed a chain. Now I was under the water and all.
Shit.
But they took me out, and there was flashing lights everywhere, and I thought it was a spiritual awakening. It wasn't, and I says, "I'm all right, look, they had to put me out." And I says, "I'll go home." They says, "No, you can't. Because if we let you go home and that happens to you, more than true."
Yeah, yeah.
But how I got in pitch darkness from there to there, I don't know.
You don't know, yeah. There is, Noel said this to me as well, and Noel's your nephew. He said, "Anto, I'll put it to you this way." He says, "I've had a lot of close calls, and I think some people sometimes do, and the only thing I can make sense of it sometimes I think about it, I chalk it down, there was something looking after me, it wasn't my time, and, even I can say, I've had times, I remember years ago, now I never told the story this way, but I walked out of a chipper after a night out down in Carlo, and some guy came up and asked me for a cigarette. I didn't even look at him. I was going over to the ATM to get a few bob for a bag of chips, and I said, "Sorry, I don't smoke." And all of a sudden I got a smack. Now I had got into arguments as well years ago. I'd gone through a bit of bullying in school.
Yeah.
I was a bit smaller than my friends growing up, and all of a sudden, when I got that bit bigger, I would have seen bullies and I would have hated them. I remember what it felt like, and I used to see people,
of course,
doing this to other people when I was out, and I'd go over and I never hit someone for it, they hit me or anything, but I'd always say, "What are you doing? Let that person enjoy their night." And this, of course, I could walk into 4 people and say this, and lads would be saying, "Oh, here we go now, another argument." But this night anyway, I didn't even see who it was, and "No, sorry, don't smoke." And I got a smack, and I knew from previous arguments it wasn't a fist. And I got rocked a bit, and I got another smack, very heavy. I don't know what it was, and I still couldn't turn. And it was like someone dipped my head under water and brought me back up. It was like my head was swimming, and I fell onto one knee, and I got another smack. And this, I didn't know this, but there was a lot of commotion going on, and I couldn't almost defend myself. But I knew there were several people around me, and something in me said, "You need to get out of here right now, this second." And I got this surge of energy, and I burst through them. There must have been 6 or 7 guys, straight through the middle of them, and I tore off as quick as I've ever ran, and I ended up in a car park where I collapsed from the pain, or from the actual impact. But I managed to get there, and I went so fast that none of them could actually catch me. What had happened, I found out the next day, was these guys were going around recording, and they hit me with a brick 4 times in the head, and a young fella died a few months after from these guys. And these what they were. They didn't care. Like, they were intending to put me at least in hospital. But whatever got me out of there. Now that could be coincidental as well. People could argue that. But there is, I had an accident here a few weeks ago. I shouldn't even be raising my arm that high, because I cycled from Carlow to Dublin. I stopped here to pick up a bag of clothes, and I cycled 2 kilometres further to my mother's house in Walkinstown. The bag of clothes swung and caught the spoke. This is 6 weeks ago. And I went head over heels on the bike. The bike was broke up and I was on the ground on the road. This guy got out of his car and went to pick me up, and I said, "Oh, I'm not there." And I didn't realise, but my collarbone was snapped and it was coming out through the skin. But I actually came down on my head and I was bleeding from the nose, but I was wearing a helmet. Had I not been wearing a helmet now, it would have been a different story. But I was in hospital and they said, "You need surgery tomorrow. And we're going to have to put a plate in your shoulder." And it's there. That's, you know, it's still on the heel. I don't know if you see it, but I was nervous. I didn't want to be knocked out. I even got the camera down the throat years ago, and I didn't want to be knocked out for nothing like that. Don't like needles, any of this kind of thing. But I was so sore. I knew I had to go through it because it was in bits. And I have a cross, and I said, "I'll bring this in. That's my protection. I said a few prayers or whatever like that."
Of course.
They stopped me and they said, "You can't bring that in." And I said, "Well, I always wear this." And they said, you can't bring me into surgery. So put it in the envelope and go in. And I said to myself, "Jesus, be with me, or show me that you'll be with me for this." They wheeled me down, and 5 minutes later, this woman came up. She goes, "I'm going to be looking after you. Don't worry about a thing." As soon as she said it, this crucifix fell from inside her top and down. And I was being pulled out at the time, and I was just about to be pulled out. I knew, I just smiled to myself and I said, "At least he showed me," you know. And you know, you get hundreds of these little things, you know, the timing of things, how things work out well, you know, how you get jobs, how opportunities come up, and family members, you know, there's so much stuff that sits so well and, you know, means so much to you, you know. But,
but just like that, the cross, and for that to happen.
Yeah.
If it popped out.
Yeah, and people could say it's coincidence, but you can't say everything is coincidental.
No,
you know.
No.
You know, the fact that we're able to even to consider these things, you know, the way our brains, you know, contemplate these things, you know, we want to know who we are. It's good to know who we are, you know. Can I ask you something though? And this might be a personal question. You don't have to answer it or not.
Yeah.
Did you ever make amends with your father?
I did.
You did?
I did. I'll tell you what I did.
You sound both stubborn. I remember you said I was probably a little bit too much like him.
Yeah,
and I wondered, is that what you were saying?
That's right. In actual fact, I fell in with every one of my family. I was the problem. Because if you come in at 2 or 3 in the morning, pissed out of your head or whatever, they have to go to work.
Yeah.
And so forth. As a matter of fact, put it this way, up until that age, my biggest defect was being conscious of having no defects. Right?
Right, okay.
Then I woke up.
Yeah.
And then I says, I'm a walking defect.
Yeah.
I had so many defects. I heard of skeletons in the cupboard. I have graveyards in here, you know. So.
And you know, that also goes back to, I think, faith in a way. You know, the idea in the biblical story of the Garden of Eden, you know, and if you eat this fruit, you will become gods and in your own right. I think people who sometimes reject this idea are, you know, I'm the master of my own life. I decide I'm here for my reasons and to do this, that and the other. But really, you have to bow down to something. And I said, you know, it's important to know you're not the God of your own. You know, they say, you know, in a lot of ways, I think it's very true because, you know, you need to humble yourself.
Of course you do.
You know, and realise how it's, you know, you get too wrapped up in the whole thing. And I think that eventually you go through life and you get to the end of it. And I think you might be very sorry when you realise your own mortality, you know, that, did I miss something here, maybe, you know?
Of course. You see, sorry, just so much about saying that. You know, you go through life. Let me put it this way. You said the Big Bang Theory not so long ago. I don't believe in that.
No, me neither.
I'll tell you what they actually did. They put this circular pipe and so forth and so on. They sent 2 positives against each other in the opposite direction. That's such force, it couldn't but hit.
Yeah.
Flash. If you look at speed of light is 186,232 miles per second. The nearest planet to us is Alpha Centauri, 4.25 light years away, and then Alpha Proxima and so forth. But even with Kepler 186F, that is the nearest planet. It's red.
Mm-hmm.
They believe there's growth on it.
Mm-hmm.
There could be life on it.
In other words, Mars, is it?
Sorry?
In other words, Mars, is it like...
No. Do you know these rockets that go, the spaceships go for miles and miles and miles and
mm-hmm.
billions of them. They keep on taking pictures.
Yeah.
And they be way past Mars and all of them. And they're looking for life on planets.
Yeah.
So there was this planet, Kepler 186.
That's right, yeah.
And they says it has growth, it has water, but it's red.
Yeah.
Now, come here and I tell you, somebody said the earth was flat.
Yeah.
Now, people up to that point in time would have been educated that the world was flat.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That went out the window like that, once one person found it was round.
Yeah.
So we're all just looking out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of space.
Yeah.
And a waste of money.
Yeah.
If they spend the money on saving lives.
Yeah.
Or
Billions and hundreds of billions go to these.
And the rest.
You know, it's said in the Bible, you know, the heavens explain the glory of God, which is the stars. You know, it says in Genesis, we go at it's time, space and matter. These are three things that need to come into existence at the same time. You know, they'll never figure that one out because, you know, to get a bang, you need energy. You know, where does energy come from to begin with? You know, where does matter come from? If you have time and no space, where do you put it? You know, if you have space and no time, when do you put it? You know, and they can't get it. But in the beginning, there's time. God created the heavens, there's space, and the earth. There's matter. And that's the three continuums, you know, because, you know, time is present, past, future. They're a trinity. And you see this trinity theme, you know, earth is solid, liquid, gas. And, you know, what did I say? You know, and matter, space, and time. Yes, and space, height, with depth. And these things had to come together at the same time. But, you know, even now they're trying to shoot rockets and they're trying to do this, that and the other. They can't explain what gravity is even. You know, they don't know how to produce it, what it is, why it's there, why it could be there. You know, there's very simple stuff that they keep talking about this, you know, quantum physics and multiverses. They can't figure out what's in front of us, you know.
That's exactly.
And DNA, they still don't know how much information. They just keep stacking up how we're formed and how we, you know, reproductively, how we do everything, you know, how it happens. And it all points to a design, you know, and that's the big problem, you know, like everything seems designed, you know, and maybe it's possibly because there is a designer, you know, in a lot of ways, you know.
Well, you see, you were talking about gravity and all like that. You take an airplane.
Yeah.
You have gravity, lift, thrust, and drag. And then you have the jet engine, induction combustion, you have the cones to get the flares out. I learned all this from an engineer.
Yeah.
With the RAF. But there's so many things. You get something to work, but how does it work?
Yeah.
But the brain has created everything, but God has put that there for us.
Yeah.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Because you cannot make a wheel. Yeah. It does nothing to make a wheel with.
Yeah.
So all of these things, I mean, uranium, 1871, named after the planet Uranus. Now they make atomic bombs from it.
Yeah.
And so forth and so on. It's an energy force. You know?
Yeah.
But
also as well, it's funny. I remember reading this atheist Austrian philosopher came to the US years ago, and he says, either there is a God or there isn't. Both possibilities are frightening to me. He said, if there isn't a God, then we're spinning around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour and nobody's in charge. And he said, if there is a God, then we better find out what he wants and what this means to us, in a lot of ways. I thought it was a very funny statement, There's a guy called Haeckel, who's a German. He read the book of Darwin, and he sculpted up these images, and it was supposed to be about the the child growing in the womb and how it's the same as a dog. And, he went around the German population showing these photos, and Darwin believed that this was by far the biggest evidence for evolution, say, in genomes. And his own institution eventually convicted him as a fraud. He had made up everything, and he had already been years, but still, this is 150 years ago, and the drawings are still being used today in textbooks. And why they're not alleviated, sometimes you wonder, is there an agenda in certain atheist scientists putting these things out, to pull away from we're all gods, or trying to play, God in our own way and try to get the power of owning, shooting satellites and being the first one to the moon, and, owning, someone drew lines in the sand years ago. This is America, this is South America, this is our part. And everyone just goes with that now, and we're all separated by these lines, and they spawn their own languages to be individuals.
That's right.
I think the bigger picture is that, we're all in this together. Life can be suffering, and you have to bear that and help each other out and stumble forward. Really,
That's right. But you also have to stick with the winners.
Yeah.
Because there's an awful lot of people out there that try to drag you down.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And there's an awful lot of jealousy out there.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Let me tell you, Anthony, there's 3 gods, right, in this world. 3. 1 is God.
Mm-hmm.
2 is the multi-millionaires because they can get whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, the person that cannot be bought. They're a god in their own little rights because they can't be bought by enticed for easy money or whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's a power greater than me. If I was the greatest thing, well, what am I doing down here?
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's no meaning, sometimes we drive to work every day and we get so zoned in what room we're in, we don't see what's outside. And, the bigger picture is, you're driving on that tarmac, on a ball, on a globe that's working perfectly in sync, fine-tuned. You have loved ones around you. You have emotions for reasons. You have kids, right. And as well, I want to ask you something, because you turned your life around from polar opposites, basically, from living rough. So I know I'm jumping back a bit, but I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to anyone who is at the finding this talk, right? Who is in that situation now? What would you say to them to help them do what you did?
I'd say change your company, because if it's not working with company, something has to go.
Yeah.
Number 2, ask for help.
Yes, that's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to humble yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, you have to have a want to get better.
Yes.
If there's no want, you'll never get better.
Mm-hmm.
There is places out there, and there's people out there who are only too willing to help.
Absolutely, yeah.
But if we was to say to anybody, we'd say, if your company isn't working,
mm-hmm.
change it.
Yes.
Ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember one thing, if I'm an alcoholic, a drug addict, a compulsive gambler, whatever the case may be. The last person I need to be with is another alcoholic.
Yes.
Another drug.
Yeah. Because, even if you're trying to help that person in some ways, you can be pulled, there's this thing, so you're obliged to surround yourself with people who want the best for you. And, I read this in a recent book, a Jordan Peterson book. I'm big influenced by him, but he says, the people, you can tell who your friends, because when you tell them something that happened to you that's good, they're actually happy about that.
That's great.
But when you went through something that's tough, they suffer along with you. They feel your pain,
That's right.
and they don't blow you off or tell you about something that happened to them that was worse.
That's right.
It's a good to identify. You actually, it's not a bad thing, but you're obliged to yourself to surround yourself with people who look after you, and then you look after them in turn. I think that's the whole thing. We're all in this together.
That's right. To be there for somebody. As a matter of fact, a friend that helps not is no better than an enemy that hurts not. So think it over.
That's a good one, yeah. Listen, Connie, fair play to you coming in, and I just want to say, I'm going to put a few links on your couple of books you have there, and I know you're doing a bit of screenwriting as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get producers now for.
Yeah, which is amazing. Yeah, and I wish you the best with that. And I'm going to, after this talk is over, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a few links of your write-ups, your couple of books, and a little link to where you can buy these online as well. And I have to say, appreciate you coming in. Fair play to you. I know it's very late in the day, and on a Friday, everyone's gigs at the weekend. But
Andy, it's been my pleasure talking to you.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Well, fair play. I appreciate you coming in. Thanks very much, Connie.
Thank you.
Good man.
Very much, Andy.
Yeah.